My full name is John Raji Adive. I am from Uveira, Okene local government, Kogi State. I was born there, started my primary school and secondary education. I had to go to Ibaja in Ilorin province and finished from there, went to the university. Fortunately, I got a Commonwealth scholarship to go abroad. I went to Northern Ireland, spent 2 years there, come back home, do some work. Fortunate again to get second Commonwealth scholarship. Went to High Wycombe. I studied for my degree courses. And there I got a bachelor's and master's degree at Ohio University. And then later on, I came back home after my master's degree to continue to work at the University of Ahmadu Bello University to teach. I was one of the early lecturers. My PhD was from England. It's my bachelor's and master's I got from US. Fortunately, my school, St. Paul's Primary School, is not far from my father's place in the Uveira, Okene local government. So I finished primary school there, and then from there, that's about 60 years behind from now, I went to St. Paul's Anglican School, Okene local government. That's where I went for my primary school. And from there, when I finished my primary school, I was fortunate. I got admission again to go to Ibaja Teacher Training College, Grade 2 Teacher Training College. I went to Ibaja in Ilorin province. I was there for 3 or 4 years? 4 years to get my higher teacher's education. In those days, scholarships were quite available for young people that work hard, study hard, and are ready to continue with higher education after secondary or grade 2. So after my grade 2 from Ibaja, I went to Stramillis College in Belfast, Northern Ireland. I was there for 3 years, finished my course, and then I came back, continued to teach. I got another scholarship to go to England. The first time I stayed for 2 years. Second time I stayed there for 3 years. My degree courses. I went with my family. I got married then and got family. Got you and Johnny too for some time. It was after about 3 or 4 years before I got another child, Ruthie and Jimmy, and 4 of you. And when I got married and started having children, anywhere I went with my family. That's how we first went to England. Did you remember?
Yes, I remember. And the US as well.
And the US, exactly. I taught at primary, at secondary, at the university, and I was teaching the university. I retired as a senior professor. In those days, we have DOs, district officers, for provinces and no states. We didn't have states then, it was provinces. In the northern provinces, we have British Americans giving scholarships to go and for people to have higher education. And I was fortunate at those times too to get scholarship 2-3 times. 2 times I went to Britain. Once I got America for 3 years. And that's where I got my postgraduate degrees, master's degree and bachelor, PhD. I thank the Lord that see my children, grandchildren, they're all healthy. No illness, sickness here and there. So to God be the glory. I'm grateful. I accomplished what naturally and working hard one will accomplish at my level, at my age, at my generation. My prayer is that they will continue to walk with the fear of God and be sure that all of you is involved in this or that bad things that is will involve going to court, going to where. I thank the Lord, my children, to fear God in whatever they do and keep going with the Bible teaching. Generation of generations and generation, they all have their, how do I put it, how do I call it, their ways of life. I know that, and I thank God. In my generation, one is free to move ahead in education with the fear of God, to do well, and I did well in all higher postgraduate studies. My bachelor's, master's, and PhD degrees. I thank the Lord. I got them. And they called me here and there. When I finished from England, they wanted me to stay. I said, no, I had to go to my country. They need me. And I thank God I came home. I enjoyed and I liked football. I played tennis ball. I played long tennis and table tennis. I was in the choir in Kano, in Jos, where I worked after my higher education. I direct choir. I was choir master in Kano and here in Jos for many years. I played guitar. I played piano, organ. I still have one in the room, piano. So I played those two. And in those, what do we call this one? Flute. I played these musical instruments in those days, in the church, in the programs. I like music, church music particularly.
And I know you also like Jim Reeves, right?
Oh, well, those secular things, Jim Reeves, well. Yeah, they were worldly popular musicians in my generation in those days. And people get their music worldwide. The world is changing everywhere. People want to become rich within a very short time. I know that, and such philosophy is not the very best. I advise my children and young people,
Yes.
my younger blue children like this, to fear God and stay well and do things to fulfill God's plan for your life. And don't rush to be rich and have this car today, that vehicle tomorrow. and all that. You be careful, take your time, right from primary school. I went to mission school. In those days, there were more mission schools, Anglican, Catholic, and all Baptist, and more private schools than government schools. So quite a number of people of my generation, we went to mission schools. So I started my primary one in St. Paul's Anglican Church, Okemwe. And from there I went to Ibaja Primary Mission School. So that's how I became a Christian right from younger age in a CMS in Anglican school before I went for higher training. And I went to Ibaja higher training, which is known by SIM.
What would you want your grandchildren to remember about you?
That I live a godly life. I fear God. And I try to get my family and people in my, in my area, my circle I come in contact with, and other things to see that I live a godly life. Do my best for my children and the younger ones. But I thank God. They are committed to God's way, God's word. They take time and they pray for God's way and will to be done in whatever they do. That's one thing I thank God for that they get from me and my wife and your mom. She was a very, very godly, committed, loving woman. Thank God for all the years we spent together. I thank God for all the 4 children God gave us. I thank God for the training, the education our children were able to attend during their younger school-age days. So, we are grateful that they all get what it takes to lead a good, godly, and independent life, godly life.
What's your favorite food?
Pounded yam is our food down in this the middle belt as western part of the country. In those, the Yorubas, and we are neighbors, we are close to them. So we have quite a number of these habits in common. Pounded yam with egusi soup, rice and beans is the next one after pounded yam. I think you know my commitment to the Bible, to Christian life, to my family, my community, and my workplace. In my teaching profession, I've taught in primary, secondary, and university. I retired as a professor from the university. So, I like teaching. And throughout that, I retired from that and then joined the missionary church work, translation with my training in linguistics and exposure to the Western world. This one want to make me laugh now. I don't know. I try to feel free to see and watch things going around me and all these things, and if you feel free and other things, you laugh once in a while, once in a time. What makes me laugh? I don't know. But I do laugh. My children, grandchildren, they play. My grandson, Johnny the Third, and Johnny the second. They follow Johnny the first and Johnny the second and Johnny the third. The John Adive family. And I ask God to guide, direct, and help me for my family to follow God's way, God's plan, and God's word in their events, activities. To God be the glory. They are all committed to God in their activities and events. My grandchildren to remember me as a grandfather that likes his children to follow God's way in their work, in their life, in their events, in their activities, and to live godly life at every stage of their development. With the grace of God, continue to guide, direct, and help all you, my children, grandchildren, family associates and relationships to follow God's way. Life is not easy, as people won't like to take it sometimes. We have to follow God's way, to do God's will, and to know that we are not permanent here. Everybody, everyone has a limit, a limitation on this side of eternity. So we want to do God's will at all times. And those God bring our way, allowed to be in touch with and to do things that we will continue to show God's care, love, concern. I like my children to be involved and to be active, not to take anything for granted. God give us the grace and the health and strength and will to be alert and work all the time. My last message, statement, is that please fear God. Do His will and be responsible. Do whatever God brings your way, whatever people brings your way. You do all in fear of God and in the knowledge and direction of God. We know, many people, they know, but they don't seem to follow the trend that we are not here forever. We are very limited. Everybody has his own time. And that we should be careful and do our best to see that the will of God is accomplished in our lives, in our ways, and in our relationships with others. Thank you. Keep your life going in the fear of God, in the way of God, and in direct, right time for every event, occasion, contact, relationship you might be involved in, to know that God first, others, and His will to be done in any way, in every way. Thank you, daughter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.